Hello, art farmers. Welcome. This is Shannon here. I'm here at Art Farm Studios, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to a very dear friend, a longtime friend. She's here visiting from out of state. Before I do, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you for being with us. This is our third vlog and our third month bringing you new paintings, new stories, and new products. So last month we really focused on igniting, and we released our Fire Girl series and our Fire Dancer series, and it was about igniting that passion. And this September season, it's more about perseverance. That concept of walking in your purpose and standing tall. So in September we have 3 pieces coming out. On September 9th is California Day, and my heart is in California. I am a lifelong Californian, California girl, and this painting I titled California Dreamin'. I've hidden 31 hearts in this painting because California was the 31st state. And September 9th is California Day. So this tree behind me was painted. I just finished it actually, and I lost count after 100 hours. It was we've had a long time together, me and this tree. But the tree represents standing tall and standing proud and enduring, persevering through seasons and through the weather of life. And this tree's from Santa Cruz, actually. It's in Capitola. It's a famous surf spot called The Hook. And it's a cypress tree, which interestingly enough, in art, cypress trees usually are symbolic of death. You see them a lot in cemeteries. The cone, it's the silhouette of the cypress tree. You'll even see it in like Vincent van Gogh's Starry Starry Night. It's kind of a tripod feeling, or no, tripod would be this way, more like a pyramid feeling. And the concept is that it's reaching up towards the heavens, so it's a connection between the earth and the heavens. And to me, that's what trees are. And I love Santa Cruz because it's where the water meets the trees. And from being from Southern California, we don't get those big giant trees. We don't get those. We got some little, we got some palm trees. That's what we have some really, I'm looking at some right now. We have beautiful palm trees, but this mountainous kind of cypress tree, we don't get these kind of grandma trees. We don't get these girls. And so this painting means a lot to me. Just, I love California. I am born and raised here, and the symbolism of the tree and persevering also goes with the other piece that we're going to be launching September 13th. This is from the Elephant Parade series, which is a small painting, was inspired by my connection to the journey of life, which we'll be talking about in just a few minutes. And then our Sunshine and Grit collection, the collaboration I do with my friend Yvonne Sanders, we are releasing our Sweet Dreams painting. And she's this fabulous redhead. I don't know if you can see behind me, but she also, to me, even though you can't see her legs, when I look at her, I feel like I can see her legs, and she's solid. She, to me, also has that look of perseverance. Like, she's walking and she's looking and she's dreaming, and she's not like a spaced out kind of dreamer. She's intentional. If you look at her eyes, she's actually thinking about something. She's not like an airhead kind of dreamer. She's actually a thinking kind of dreamer. And when I look at her, she just also seems like perseverance to me, because she's plodding forward and she's dreaming, and nothing's gonna stop that or shake that ground below her feet. So Sweet Dreams, look for her. We have a few products with her. She's pretty limited, and I'm super excited to share this with you. So I have a really special guest today, and I'm really excited to introduce to you a very, I was going to say old, that's not the right way, a very longtime friend, Bathabile Mthombeni. Did I do okay?
You missed one.
Oh, what I meant? Oh, yeah, the other. Could
You do miss
wait. I knew it too. This is Toby, everyone. So Toby and I have been, I want to say soulmates, like seriously, since kindergarten. So I don't. Welcome to California, to Art Farm. I'm so glad. I thought Toby was gonna be on like an iPad. I asked originally Toby to be on the vlog, and I asked if I could interview her on an iPad and have her face sitting here. And she said she just would happen to be home in our hometown, which is a little over an hour away from here in Loma Linda, California. And so she is here in the flesh.
Yes.
And we've literally only seen each other a couple of times in, 15 years? I think we've seen each other probably twice in 15 years. But the first part of our journey together was so foundational. So each month I'm kind of trying to sort of find one word that sort of symbolizes the artwork. And this month it's perseverance. So to me the elephant symbolizes perseverance and moving on and plodding forward and being really, I was reading about perseverance and it said a firmness in your purpose. And I think that is a really good intro to what was inspiring me in creating an elephant. And the reason why the elephant is on parade is because it's this idea that we are all getting together, this gathering. It's not just an elephant in the wild. It's this elephant walking through the seasons of life and being honored through the journey. So I do want to talk a little bit about our foundation and our history and our friendship and our beginning, I guess, of our journey. I wanted to ask you about your tribe.
So I think it's useful to understand a little bit about how clan names work in, I guess you could say, Nguni societies, Southern African societies. I'm sure that there must be resonance in other societies, I just don't know them. But you've got your family and you have your family name, and then there are groups of family names because different brothers, because it is patriarchal and patrilineal. So the brothers' names are going to get passed down and so forth. And so in the case of my family, our ethnic group, it's complicated. Our ethnic group is Ndebele, and then also we are Zulus. There's a lot of interlinkage there too. We have Xhosa family and so forth. But my family in particular, the Mthombeni. Mthombeni actually is the name of our clan, but then Ndlovu brings us all together. And Ndlovu is an elephant. So if I go to South Africa and I ask the person, what's your name? I'm not asking for their first name. I'm not necessarily even asking for their last name. I'm asking for their family name. And so if they say Ndlovu, then we know that we are related to each other. That worked out really well when I was in South Africa in my 20s, and guys would try to talk to me. And I'd be like, so, what's your name? And they tell me, I'm like, oh, that's mine too. And they're like, darn. Too bad, we're cousins. Oh my gosh. So, growing up in the United States with that knowledge, but, having the knowledge only as like a 5, 6, 7-year-old, and not having a lot of substance to back that up. It's one of the things that happens, I think, for very young immigrants, is that, depending on the orientation of their parents, my parents were very much embracing American society, embracing living in the United States, and so they weren't too concerned about, inculcating us and sort of in putting us into our cultural context in that way. We're in America, we're Americans. And so, in a sense, you have to develop, I had to develop for myself, what that meant once I understood that this is my family's name and background and it's about the elephant. And elephants just really are so amazing. They are matriarchal and matrilineal. They live for a very long time. They have very strong emotional bonds with each other. They are very wise. They have great memories. They're powerful. And so understanding all of those characteristics and understanding my family's link to that name gave me inspiration for, okay, so who am I and how do I meet the world? You know, how do I face the world?
Right.
And so, you know, I have this name that refers to this animal that has these characteristics, and it really did actually mean quite a bit in terms of our family coming over as immigrants. My parents were students, and so, you know, we didn't have a lot of money. They were working all the time. If they weren't studying, they were working. And so my brother and sister and I had in many ways to take on roles that kids our age didn't ordinarily take, and we had to persevere and watch our parents persevere. And so by their example and then by our own experience, perseverance is part of who we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, you know, I've become curious about what you witnessed. What was it like to see my family from a third-party perspective?
It was like seeing Africa. I mean, it really was like, I really, with all my heart, believed that when we were at school, you were me, I was you. When you were at school, you were a white girl. You were one of us. You were. And there was absolutely no difference. And then as soon as I stepped foot in your home, Africa. Africa. I mean, just the way your family, I don't know, I even know it now more than then, because looking back more, I feel like your family there was music instruments everywhere at your house. That was different than my house. And, but it was more in like the connection of the family. It just felt different. The way your parents spoke to each other. And I mean, I guess I should just mention that when your family took me to see Nelson Mandela, I mean, how old were we?
I don't remember.
I mean, 7th grade or?
Yeah, that would have been 93? 92? No, you're right.
Well, 8th grade would have been 88.
88, 89, because when was he released? It was around 89.
It was when he was released.
Yeah.
So we were probably like sophomores.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'd have been around 15.
Yeah, that day like changed my life.
Wow.
Like I'll cry right now. I'm gonna cry right now. It really, really did. Because first of all, sitting in the seat, we was at the Coliseum, right, or something. I don't know. I literally have a child's memory of it, but I was sitting there and just in this sea of energy. If anything, I could just remember the energy of that place, and it was huge. I mean, there was not a roof where we were, but if there had been, that roof would have been blown off. Like, the energy was huge, and I just felt small, honestly. I felt small, and I thought, the tables, that's what that feels like. To feel I was the minority, and I had never felt that feeling before, you know? And I don't know, just the passion and the energy behind. Do you remember when we went marching with everybody? And I mean, we were holding the signs, and I just remember, they were like, "Free South Africa, we gotta free South Africa," and we were like totally marching with our hearts. And I don't know, I think that really affected me as a person, as an artist, as a creator, as someone on this planet who believes that we're all the same. And you were a really huge role in me knowing that we're all the same. Did you know that an elephant, a herd of elephants is called an elephant parade? Did you know?
No, I did not know
I did not know that either.
So
Allison told me.
it is called an elephant parade.
It's called an elephant parade, so that's why the title of the painting is Elephant Parade. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess what people need to understand is that we met before we knew who we were.
That's a good point. Right.
And so we became who we were together.
Right.
And so we are in so many ways, and it's weird to say this, I know, but we are the same person.
Right.
I mean, we really, really are. And it feels so good and so comforting to know that there's somebody else in the world out there who knows me at that level. I was thinking about this as I was thinking about us having this conversation. What would I say to describe it? From my perspective, you know, I would come home. My mother talks about what a significant influence you were on my life, because every day I would come home and say, Shannon says, Shannon says, kissing boys is yummy. That's the one she remembers.
That is what friends are for. That is what friends are for.
So she's,
Preach.
She would have had a t-shirt made that says, Shannon says,
Kissing boys are yummy. That would have been the other part of that
right,
same t-shirt.
So,
Make that t-shirt.
The things that make me who I am come from a number of influences. Of course, my parents, my community and so forth. But you, I think, are like the fulcrum in all of that, because we did spend so much time together.
So much time.
I mean, we were at school together. We were at church together. We were together 6 or 7 days a week.
Yeah. You're going to cry about it.
And going camping together and playing sports together. I mean, we were tough. You and I would be on a sports team together. There were a couple of other people. If we were on the team together, we always won. So it felt really, really good to be part of this crew.
I was mentioning to you that this painting also was inspired by my journey with henna. And it kind of ties into what we're talking about, because when I started going to henna school and seeing these groups of women, and they were putting this beautiful design, and that's why I wanted this parade to be ornate, because I saw these women decorating each other, and that is not something my people do. I do not see that, and it was beautiful to my eyes, to see these women literally adorning and other women. That is not something my people do. And I don't have sisters. I don't know that feeling. No one brushes my hair. I don't know what that feels like. And so even I'm an artist, we're kind of removed. I mean, just who we are. So even the physical touch of doing henna on someone was such a gathering of spirit that felt to me like Africa. That is when I've seen that. And so it becomes this spiritual linkage and this hub of this gathering place. And to me, that's the Elephant Parade. This steadfast, knowing who you are, standing with purpose, and just taking one foot in front of the other. But it's because of your common link to each other and your bond. And that's the Elephant Parade, the bond. Yeah.
There is one other thing that I need to say.
Okay.
Which is this: we've been using the term Africa,
right?
And I want everybody to know that Shannon knows that Africa is not a country.
All right. Africa's my heart. It's a place in my heart.
It's a place in your heart, but it's not a country.
Right.
And so. Because there are people who are sensitive to that too.
Right, okay.
And I've actually had people, oh my gosh, I'm sensitive to it. I've had people ask me, where do you come from? And I'd say South Africa.
Broad.
Well, yeah, because listen, here's what happened. So she said, where do you come from? I said, South Africa. And she says, no, what country? And I get that a lot, actually. I said, South Africa, like Nelson Mandela? And she's like, Nelson Mandela is the president of Africa. What country are you from? And I was like, honestly, I'm not going to argue if you think that Nelson Mandela is the president of Africa, because he should be. He was still alive at the time, and he was president of South Africa at the time. And so I was like, the proud South African in me was like, sure, let him be president of Africa. Yeah. But it was what do you say? How do you, so... I think it is important to distinguish, to understand that when you talk about Africa as a place in your heart, it's a metaphor. It's a but
it's a symbol.
It's a symbol, but that we understand that in reality, Africa is made up of well, the number changes from time to time,
Right.
but 50-something different countries
Right.
that have very distinct cultures and languages
That's a very good
and
point. Yes.
and that sort of thing. And so we cannot talk about the continent really as a monolith.
Right.
But at the same time, there is that idea, of the place that has this sort of unifying aspect to it.
Yeah.
And it's okay to acknowledge that. But, and Wakanda is not a country in Africa. Please. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happened too. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's interesting. It's interesting
it
being-
really is. Like you said from the very beginning, it's complicated.
Yeah.
I want to bring art into the world for that exact same reason. I want people to have stories to tell that are beyond they don't know where they got their bag. They got it from wherever. They don't know what they're wearing. It doesn't mean anything. I really, as you know me more than anyone, and the meaning is everything, and the story behind everything matters.
Yeah.
And to take the time to listen to the story matters. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for everything and for being a foundational piece in my journey and in my story. We have sung together and walked together on this path, and
We've been elephants together.
we have been elephants on parade together.
Yeah.
So I love and I appreciate you. I feel like I look in a mirror when I look at you, honestly. And that's how I feel.
And same here.
Yeah.
You are my repository of memory.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
In
That's
ways.
so weird.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's awesome. And, this life is all about seasons and journeying together. So all the inspiration that we can get, we got to hold on to it and keep it with us.
Thanks.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I love you so much.